Right now, a staggering $1.152 quadrillion of global kinetic flow is seizing up. The world's economy has run into a physical wall. We see the symptoms everywhere. Multi-billion-dollar artificial intelligence data centers sit paralyzed, trapped in 5 to 7 year queues just to connect to the physical power grid. Simultaneously, international supply chains are fracturing under the weight of polycentric regulations and guarded borders, breaking global commerce into a heavily siloed splinter net. On the ground, a highly skilled global workforce is experiencing an $8.8 trillion crisis of cognitive exhaustion. We are throwing human focus at a structural bottleneck. The legacy tech industry treats these as separate, isolated crises: a grid problem, a policy problem, a labor problem. In reality, a single thermodynamic friction drives all of them, caused by a fatal flaw in the architecture we use to run civilization. That flaw traces back to 1984, the year the global economy began running on the Open Systems Interconnection networking model. The OSI model was an efficient, one-dimensional pipe designed to route dead packets, settled ledgers, and historical data in a digital vacuum. But as it scaled, we adapted to its limitations. We voluntarily compressed our lives, acting as cognitive drones to serve a one-dimensional system. Today, we deploy borderless agentic AI, autonomous robotics, and massive quantum computing. These new tools generate what we call living packets. These are active, unresolved demands for massive thermodynamic energy, complex sovereign legal compliance, and messy human biological intent. When you force a massive 10-dimensional living packet through a one-dimensional dead packet pipe, the system overheats. The Earth violently pushes back. For decades, consulting firms have tried to fix this through systemic integration, gluing broken software together with APIs. But algorithms and living communities are different states of matter. Instead of patching old pipes, we must build the literal anatomy of a cybernetic biology. As we move through 2026, we are transitioning to a new macro-systemic architecture, the 15-layer ontological protocol stack. A protocol is a fundamental law of existence. DNA is a protocol for biology. Thermodynamics is a protocol for physics. This stack applies that exact standard to our digital infrastructure. We execute the power of the and. Instead of replacing legacy systems or modern tech, the ontological protocol acts as external scaffolding. It wraps securely around those pipelines, creating cybernetic airlocks that tether the cold speed of the machine to the warm, living reality of the host planet. By deploying this stack, we move beyond building isolated software products and begin architecting a unified cybernetic biology. This ignition reinvents 3 core pillars of society, starting with truth. Legacy AI operates on probabilistic inference, curve-fitting historical data to guess reality. The protocol shifts us to living deterministic truth, relying on deep context instead of static math. Through cryptographic consensus, a localized human swarm, the biological oracle, validates the physical and cultural reality in the present moment. If the machine hallucinates or violates local context, the biological host refuses the consensus, and the circuit instantly breaks. Second, it reinvents work. Human beings are currently wasting massive amounts of thermodynamic energy manually auditing the random noise of broken algorithms, which is what keeps our economic flow blocked. This chart visualizes the exact boundary of the machine exoskeleton. A one-dimensional algorithm perfectly automates the 67% of society relying on settled routines. The remaining 33% is unsettled variance. Algorithms cannot process meaning. This friction proof of work is where we author new universal understanding. Third, this framework reinvents sovereignty. Sovereign nations watch the splinter net rise because they are forced to use blunt data embargoes to protect their borders from algorithmic colonization. Drawing directly on Nobel laureate Elinor Ostrom's principles of polycentric governance, the protocol introduces a secure way to protect local realities. It introduces a T+15 cybernetic airlock at the regional edge. When a global capability arrives, in situ computation maps that algorithm against local thermodynamic capacity and sovereign laws, without ever extracting confidential data to a central cloud. We empower these polycentric airlocks to safely domesticate global capability on a local level, removing the need to decouple global markets entirely. When you align truth, work, and sovereignty, you achieve complete supply and demand coherence through the 10-7-1 continuum. One-dimensional, borderless cyber algorithms route down through 7-dimensional physical capacity limits, landing perfectly inside the 10-dimensional biological human swarms. This alignment allows pioneers in compute, energy, logistics, and capital to orchestrate together across cyber, physical, social, and sovereign dimensions. Some suggest escaping to Mars to start over, but if we carry the same one-dimensional extractive architecture into space, we carry the same thermodynamic failures with us. Moving the host doesn't fix a broken protocol, it just exports the same recursive extraction to a new planet. By removing the $8.8 trillion drag of cognitive exhaustion and clearing the 5-year grid queues, we finally unlock that stalled quadrillion-dollar kinetic baseline. When algorithms serve biological intent rather than forcing us to serve the machine, we replace artificial friction with the efficient flow of resources. By establishing this cybernetic biology, we build the exact system required to sustain our future. It is time to unleash the true, unrestrained kinetic flow of planetary life.